boots, and I'll thank you not to go snooping around in my manuscript, or I'll introduce you to my boots.
Begging your pardon, what did you learn at the Lyceum?
What do you know about Bram Stoker?
He's an odd one, all right. Of course, his name isn't Bram, of course. It's Abraham.
What else?
Born in Dublin or thereabouts. He was a champion athlete at Dublin University, and he has a brother who's a prominent physician.
Not Dr. William Stoker.
The same.
What was Stoker's occupation before entering Irvin's employ?
All roads lead to Rome. He was a drama critic.
A critic?
And aspiring author of the frustrated variety. Do you think he killed McCarthy?
That remains to be seen.
Do you think he killed Jessie Rutland?
Jessie Rutland?
Yes, there's been a second murder.
Was she? Was she?
The same hand committed both crimes.
This may prove to be your bloodiest case since the Whitechapel murders.
What? But Jack the Ripper's never been caught.
Did the murder cease?
Yep.
Ah.
What will you do now?
Smoke. It is quite the three-pipe problem. You're more than welcome to.
No, thank you. I'd rather risk black lung disease from a Newcastle coal mine than breathe your noxious fumes. Mrs. Hudson?
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Lestrade is here.
Very well, Mrs. Hudson. Send him up. Am I to get no respite?
Solved any murders lately, Mr. Holmes?
Not lately.
Well, I have. A brace of them. I've solved the murders of Jonathan McCarthy and Miss Jessie Rutland.
Indeed.
Oh, you didn't know those crimes were related, did you? Well, they are. Miss Rutford was the mistress of the critic. They were both dispatched by the same hand, and I have him.
Really? And have you also solved why the murderer should smoke Indian cigars?
Indian cigars? Are you still going on about that? Well, I'll explain it to you. He smoked Indian cigars because he's an Indian himself.
What?
Amazing.
That's right. A bloody Hindu. His name is Ahmed Singh, and he's been in England for just under a year running a used furniture and curio shop on the Tottenham Court Road.
Where did he meet Miss Rutland?
His shop is just down the road from her boarding house, and he was seen in her company.
May I ask what he was doing with tobacco if he's a Hindu?
What's he doing in England, you might as well ask. But he came here to mingle with white folk. He'll have taken to some of our ways, no doubt. Well, the fellow was even attending evening classes at the University of London.
Ah, a sure sign of a criminal mind.
You can jeer, but the point is, the man cannot account for his time during the period where either murder took place. He had the time, and he had the motive.
What motive?
Jealousy. Heathen passion, you can see that surely, Doctor. She dropped him and took up with McCarthy.
Who invited him to his home where the Hindu drank brandy.
Well, the glass was broken on the floor. Who knows if he drank a drop? He might have accepted the offer of a glass of brandy as part of his plan to gain admittance to the place.
He went there, of course, knowing a murder weapon of some sort was at the ready.
I didn't say the plan was murder. He may simply have wanted to plead for the return of his white woman.
You seem quite certain of yourself, Lestrade.
The Metropolitan Police have our share of solved cases, despite reports to the contrary in Strand magazine.
Then you would have no objection if I asked him a question or two.
Suit yourself. Right this way. But before I leave you to your interview, I must tell you something, Mr. Holmes.
What is it, Lestrade?
Nothing very much, I grant you. The murderer is a man. He is right-handed and almost the proper height, and nervously chews his fingernails. And his shoes, Mr. Holmes? His shoes are expensive new boots, oxblood red, and purchased at Harrods.
Ahmed Singh? Who is that? I am Sherlock Holmes. This is Dr. Watson.
Crikey, am I sleeping? Have I drifted off, carried on the back of dreams?
To my knowledge, no one has ever confused dreaming with holding cell at Whitehall. We are here to help you.
There is no help for me. I cannot account for my time, and have the impertinence of knowing Miss Rutland. Worse, my boots are the right color and purchased in the wrong place. Finally, I am a man of color. I am Death, the mighty destroyer of the world.
That sounds familiar. Krishna?
Yes, Lord Krishna.
Ah, yes.
You are acquainted with the Bhagavad Gita. The typical Englishman's knowledge of India runs to curry.
And curry through him.
Thank you, Watson. Mr. Singh, may I ask what you are studying at university? Oh, cigarette?
Thank you, no. My religion denies me the consolation of tobacco and liquor.
Pity.
I studied law.
I see. I must ask you now to tell me what you know of this business.
Nothing. I did not kill Miss Rutland. I do not know who did.
Let us begin with Miss Rutland. How did you come to know her?
I deal in curios from the East, and she liked my shop. Slowly, we began to converse. We were lonely, Mr. Holmes. Even in Great Britain, I do not think that is, as yet, a crime.
Indeed, it is not. Go on.
We began to go for walks. Only walks. We strolled and continued our discussions.
But in time, your feelings altered.
She was brave and pretended my color made no difference, and I was cowardly and pretended I was not losing my heart.
And then?
And then we began to notice the looks, the stares, the whispers, and soon after
She met another man.
Yes, a white man. She did not know how to tell me, so I told her. I told her our being seen together was beginning to arouse comment in the neighborhood, and I thought it'd be better that such talk be stopped. I could see a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders. It was then that she told me the man she'd met, the white man.
What did she say about him?
Only that she had met him and come to love him.
What was it that told you she had met another?
Her eyes, filled with the very thing I see in yours. Pity.
Not pity, Mr. Singh. Kinship. As a medical man, I can treat most any injury but that of a broken heart.
Alas, the love of women is known to be a lovely and fearful thing. You have Lord Krishna, we Lord Byron. Mr. Singh, this grievous matter stands against you for the time being, but do not despair. You have my oath that you shall never appear in the dock.
I know from reading your chronicled adventures that you are accustomed to far more glamorous and profitable cases. Why should I matter to you?
If you have gleaned anything from those somewhat enthusiastic accounts, then you must know that at all cost, pursuit of truth is my mantra. The truth of this case is that you are innocent.
I should be remiss, Holmes, if I wasn't to mention that I consider myself fortunate to be both your enthusiastic chronicler as well as your friend. I should also be remiss if I didn't point out that our astigmatic Hindu friend was reading the latest edition of The Strand.
And I should be remiss if I didn't state that this case starts to rankle me. A half-blind man who neither smokes nor drinks and hasn't the motive, the temperament, or the physical attributes to commit the crime. And this is what passes for Lestrade's triumph? Ludicrous. Very well. Let us see if Mr. Singh's pluck is catching. Might you be up for some mischief, Watson?
What do you propose?
Whoa! Number 14, Pork Pie Lane, Soho.
Bram Stoker's flat?
Yes, here we are. Upstairs, second story in the middle. The window's dark up there, as you can see. It has a small ledge beneath it.
Are we to burgle it?
If you've no objection.
None. I know all too well your fondness for breaking and entering.
It is always the cause that justifies little felonies such as these. Come along, Watson. I've brought my bullseye torch.
Might these masks prove useful?
Our Milverton masks. I always knew I had the makings of a first-class criminal, but you, Watson, how you do surprise me.
Not exactly suffused with romance.
Shabby and spare, although nonetheless neat.
Scarcely a trysting place.
Ah, Watson! Our Mr. Stoker's mistress is the muse of literature. But why all the subterfuge? Have a look at some of these.
Series of letters, extracts of diaries, and personal notes.
Some sort of novel.
A novel, surely not.
Yes, a novel, written in the form of letters and journals. Have a look at this.
On the bed beside the window lay Jonathan Harker, his face flushed and breathing heavily as though in a stupor.
Kneeling on the edge of the bed was the white-clad figure of my wife. By her side stood the Count. His right hand gripped the back of her neck, forcing her face down on his bosom. Her white nightdress was smeared with blood, and a thin stream trickled down the man's bare chest. The two had a terrible resemblance to a child forcing a kitten's nose into a saucer of milk to compel it to drink.
Great heavens, this is depraved.
And this!
And you are now to me flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, kin of my kin, my bountiful winepress or wire.
He then pulled open his shirt with his long, sharp nails and opened a vein in his breast. When the blood started to spurt out, he took my hands in one of his, holding them tight, and with the other seized my neck and pressed my mouth to the wound so that I might either suffocate or swallow some of the... Oh my God, what have I done?
What sort of mad work is this?
No wonder he writes in secrecy. Have you noticed anything else?
What do you mean?
Only that our Mr. Stoker knows how to induce swallowing.
Can we have been forced to drink blood?
You can ask him yourself, for that's his footsteps on the stairs.
Scott!
Quickly, Watson. Out the window.
Yes, out the window.
When you've eliminated the staircase, whatever exit remains.
Window?
Go! Don't look down. Think of him then, Watson. And jump!